Variants, variants, variants. Variants here and variants there. Variants near and variants far. Variants in a car. Okay, look, I don't know what that was, but what I do know is with 2 new variants on their way, it has me swirling with ideas for more and more and more. And today I want to talk about 5 of them that I think are really quite fun. So here are my 5 variants that I think need to happen, need to come to Iceborne, need to exist. Though I will say that coming up with new variants is a little bit kind of finicky, because it's not really deviants where you can just justify all the things. Because you don't need to justify it for the entire species, you just need to justify it for one individual, a freak occurrence, where at variants, every member of the species has to be capable of going through that, well, change. So you end up with a kind of simplistic, it's Kushala, but heavy and more on the ground. It's Rajang, but always mad and can go super mad. It's Devil Joe, but always mad and can go super mad. It's Brachydios, but explosions go bigger. It's Legiana, but also... And you see what I mean, so I've tried to push the boundaries a little bit, but first, let's start with something I think will be fun, and that is Fullgrain in an always charged state. Yes, indeed. Let's take the a little bit of a playbook from Thunderlord Zenogre and have a Fullgrain that is always ultra amped up, always glowing, always crackling, and then can go even further beyond that. And you might be thinking, whoa, Fullgrain's a subspecies, what are you doing? Hold your Raptor off. Well, that's the thing, though. There's nothing stopping a subspecies from variantifying. There's nothing that prevents that. Every member of a subspecies could have a process with which they become a variant and stronger or changed in some way. Same with rare species. Hell, you could even have variants that become deviants and so on and so forth. It was part of my talk on that I did recently, but there is nothing stopping it, and it would be a very fun creative way to push the variant boundaries. Granted, in this case, it's always lightning and can do more lightning, but I think that's very interesting here, because Fullgrain is fully charged state. His amazing big boom attack is a flying charge leap, powered by the electricity, powered by the extra strength it gives him as it fires in his muscles for much more twitch, well, electric movement. And imagine taking that and running with it. So you have normal permanently charged Fullgrain, a bit stronger, faster, a bit of a changed up move pool, but when he goes supercharged, well, he gets a little bit of a speed bonus, but not so much as he just moves faster, his animations play faster, but maybe a little bit kinda, well, electric jolty, little burst of boom. Oh my god, he's next to me! How fun would that be? Almost not after image level, because that's ridiculous, but really just crackles along in a straight line and repositions really, really fast. Actually has that kind of lightning strike approach to him, coming down with a colossal bite. I think that would be something really fun to play with, and something I really want to see. Next up, then, is Cove, or in this case, Crystal Cove. See, Cove has this lovely little habit of melting down metals in her environment and making her glorious cloak out of them, which makes her the glorious dragon. But the thing is, there's nothing stopping it happening with Crystal. And while something like Diamond, if we want to go full gemstone, might be out her, well, melting range, you can go even with something like Quartz. Though, also, imagine a diamond Cove. Like, even mine's eye cannot penetrate this mantle. But no, you can go with something like Quartz, which is one of the most common minerals found in the earth, and you can have her melt it down and adorn herself in it, and have this crystalline little suit of armor that she is now encased in. Not this smooth golden back, but actually, well, spiky and jagged and random like crystals tend to be as they form, and you can even start playing with the light at that point. Because if we say that it's refracting through the crystal just right, there's maybe a place in the environment in the caverns of El Dorado where it shines just in the right way, and she can essentially do a full body intense super flash, much like Titsu does, but you know, times 100, and this would have the effect of doing something that I still really want, which is playing with the Hunter's vision in an actual proper big way. So your screen would just kind of look like this for a while as it slowly fades out, and while it's not literally mechanically inhibiting you, you have to sort of deal with the fact that you have to dodge and fight while not being able to see. You, the Hunter, and you, your Hunter, are both like, oh, Jesus Christ! And I think that would be so fun. Imagine just rainbow prisms sparkling through this crystal dragon that you are facing. I just think it would be so much fun, and Cove does have so much potential for variantism because, again, she just adorns herself in metals, which means anywhere you place her, whatever the most common metal is, or whichever one takes her fancy, should create a new type of Cove. Even Arch-Tempered Cove was on the platinum side of things instead of gold, and technically that counts as varianting. So with Cove, you could have absolutely all sorts. Just take something that is found in the earth that she could viably melt with her internal 1500 degree furnace, and well, she can spin it to cloak her, and I think that is so much fun, and it would be a lovely way to bring her to master rank, which I really do want to see. It would be really neat having a set of weapons from Cove and a set of weapons from Safi, 2 sieges, and to see the caverns of El Dorado actually made master rank. Next up then is Velkhana, and with Velkhana, well, this isn't going to win any awards for creativity, but are you ready for this? What if the ice armor was always on?
You sound insane. Do you realize that?
And you know where I'm going with this? Can have an even icier, super armorer mode that she goes into. You know, when she twirls in the air and fully frosts up. Well, that, but on top of already being frosted. Essentially like your Savage Joe getting even angrier upon being angry, but this is icier upon being icier. You could take the Raging Brachydios route, in which certain Velkhana migrate, maybe temporarily, to a ultra-arctic region, where temperatures fall to unbelievable depths, and some Velkhana, despite being dragons of ice, the Iceborne Wyvern, can't handle the frost and actually die of cold. But those that can handle it take on this new ice, this super ice, you know, like super slime that turns Raging Brachydios raging, and end up being a deep frost Velkhana, or whatever you want to call it, and then you get this brand new variant. They all are capable, it just, you know, depends on the ones that survive the process. And what I think would be really fun to play with this, outside of how cool it would be to see her 100% head to toe encased in ice, not just extremities, the wings, the tail, the head, but just fully and completely, and then those head ones would extend out, the claw ones would extend out, the tail one would extend out, and that right there is the crux. You know how when you lop off her tail, she grows another one back? Well, she doesn't grow it back, but she mimics it with ice. She frosts up a spear and, you know, attaches it to the stump. Well, imagine actually taking that and playing with it a little bit further, not just as a replacement for a severed limb, but as a deliberate choice to attack. She frosts out her claws and gives them extra reach with ice blades. She frosts out her wings and does colossal wing beats that rain down hailstorms upon you. you, grows out her horn in speary ice, and pulls a Bolt Reaver Astalos Thunderhorn sword, but, you know, with ice, smashing it against the ground and shattering it in all which ways. You could add bleed to the ice, and what would be really fun with that is you give her a unique mechanic whereby if you're bleeding and you get the Frostblight from her at the same time, the blood that you're bleeding freezes, and your character actually kind of, well, does a full-on freeze and can't just move, and you have to, you know, shake out of it like a stun. You get almost frosted like her prey. How fun would that be to mix a frosty monster with a bleeding monster? That's not something that you would see normally, but this Velcana with Super Frost could definitely do that. So a much more intense manipulation of it and using it to extend, grow, and scythe, and that would just be so cool, right? I think it would be fantastic. Next up then...
Under the sea, Hunters, it's better now that it's wetter. Flee from me!
Oh yes, Nami L. How could it not be the magnificent new Elder Dragon? And really, there is very few better candidates for a new variant, if indeed a new variant is to be. And this is the Water Lord Nami L, which, to be fair, sounds more deviant-y, and look, I never claimed to be good at naming these. I guess it can just be a lot of water, Nami L, because as you may be guessing by all of the water that I keep saying, this is Nami L taking the water and turning it up to 11. That's the focus. Let's say as a Nami L ages and gets old, the electric organ shrivels away, which leaves room, or at least encourages, the growth of the water one. This aged Nami L takes on more water than ever before, a relative fleshy sponge. Gotta phrase that better. And now wherever they walk, at least while in combat, they leave puddles of water. Honestly, actually having it do it permanently so you can trail a Water Lord Nami L by just walking along the puddle path, that would be fantastic. But what I'm suggesting is, well, those lovely water puddles, but everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. So you end up quite literally fighting Nami L on the surface of what looks to be a beautiful ocean. And then we have the water control taken up, so the entire thing roils and shifts and moves at the Nami L's command. The tidal wave move is a full 360 round the creature and just goes and goes and goes and goes. Maybe there's just a few gaps in it that you have to run to and let it pass you if you have no other way of mitigating the hit. Absolute huge gouts and geysers and spouts of waters erupting everywhere, being flung at you. The jet beam that leaves explosions in the puddles after its wake being used to even greater effect. I essentially want to have a Nami L that brings the sea to you and makes you fight in it without actually having underwater combat. And I think that would be such pure fun just to have that going for you. Lose the electricity. Maybe the final attack gets a little bit modified because of that. Maybe it is just the water launches the Nami L in the air with the help of the now aged wings, so maybe it's not as competent a flyer and it comes crashing down. Or maybe it absorbs every single bit of water back in from the entire zone as a sort of, well, again, to bring up Bolt Reaver, a black hole type effect into the center and then just explodes out in a beautiful slow rain that, well, when it first started wasn't so slow and leaves you riddled with holes if you get caught in it. Just straight up a full-on water Nami L that kind of has this level of power. Finally then, at number one. This one is so silly, okay? I'm gonna say it right now. This one is silly. It involves a And the reason it involves Bambro, it's because I really do love Bambro. I think he's great. He's a fantastic little brute wyvern, and I just adore and also find it ridiculous that he is in every single zone, that he is a roamer, an invader. It makes no sense. He's there exhausted, dripping with sweat in the recess. So what I thought would be fun is to have like a traveler Bambaro, or a wizened Bambaro, or ancient Bambaro, however you want to talk it. When a Bambaro has been around enough, been to each zone, he eventually starts to take on the properties from that zone. So you have a Bambaro whose legs are coated in snow, but the fur is matted with blast dust from the volcano. They have patches of moss from the forest. They have some coral pieces like growing out of their horns from the highlands. They have a bit of effluvium rot down their back, and it just keeps going on and on like that. Some maybe craggy, rocky scales from the wildspire, and the more they travel and travel and travel and travel, eventually every individual Bambaro, as they keep going and going and going, will just slowly pick up little fragments of the environment and then convert that into, well, their own power. So you have a Bambaro applying every debuff under the sun as he crashes through you with the rocks. And granted, he can do that a lot depending on what rock he pulls out. But at the same time, I just love the idea of having this Bambaro that's so stubbornly going to everywhere he really shouldn't, that he starts to take on the property to those zones. This one's ridiculous. It's not even slightly the faux realism that Monster Hunter tries and honestly very successfully maintains. It's just, I need to see it. I need to see a Bambaro wielding a fluvium, fiery, icy, watery lightning blasts as he rampages along, because, you know, he's picked up a little something something on his endless ridiculous travels. I have no further to say on this. I don't think I need to say anything further. I think you're sat there going, give me Avatar Bambaro. That's fine, that's what we need, and we do! So there you go, guys. That's my 5 variant ideas that I'd love to see. Maybe some more than others and some more likely than others. I'd love to know your own. But for now, like you've enjoyed this, subscribe for more, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you, even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on, and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.